So, quick refresher on how to edit a photograph to add colours where there are none already, or you want to change colours in certain shapes. So here I've got a piece of brutalist architecture, photograph originally by someone called Jan Kempeners. Yeah, however that's pronounced. Very good, interesting image. Concrete, obviously lots of greys, lots of weathering there, so you've got lots of texture and stuff. If we just paint over these sections, we lose all of that. All we want to do is keep the texture and just change the colour of it. So I'm going to show you this tool. So image, adjustments, Hue Saturation. This might be something you've used before. Very simple, and without actually selecting anything, what I can do is change the different types of colour in the picture. So without selecting a particular area, it does everything. So it's going quite strange, a bit like a sort of a nightmare, or if you're about to pass out or something. There we go. It's very subtle though, isn't it? And down below here we've got hue, which is a posh word for colour, you could say. It's a bit more complicated than that, but hue, think hue means colour. Saturation is how much. So if I desaturate, take away the saturation, oh look, black and white. If I change the hue, nothing changes. Okay, so I've taken out all the colour. If I up the saturation, oh my god, now it's very strange. And you can really see all the different colours cycling now. Alright, so it's quite Paul East-like anyway, but we want to only change certain bits of it. So what we're going to do is use the selection tools. So selection tools here, it's the third one down. So it's called the Lasso tools. You click and hold, and you want the polygon one for this, because what we want to do is draw quite rigid shapes. So these fractured bits of concrete. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do one quickly, just to show you, and I'm going to get the shape of it using the lasso. There we go. So I've got one selection shape already. Image, adjustments, hue saturation again. First I'm going to make it more saturated, so raise the amount of colour. There we go. Don't have to go full whack, but you know, it's your personal taste really. And let's go for a nice green. There we go. Click OK, and there we go. So that's the first bit done. So how the Polygon Lasso tool works, it draws shapes based on points. So every time you click the mouse, it leaves a point. So there we go. And then you close the shape to create your selection. So I'm going to do this one now. So point there, go all the way to the corner, down, down. Now this is a curve, so it's the wrong tool for this because it only does lines. So what I'm going to do is use lots and lots of points, and it's going to be a slightly low resolution curve, so it's all kind of jagged edges, like in a video game where you get too close to what should be a round object and you see all the different shapes, the polygons that made it up. The more points you drop, the tighter the curve will be. There's other tools you can use, but just for now I'm just going to stick with that one, otherwise it just gets too complicated. Let's make that again. It's about 70 odd, 75 odd. And let's go for a nice red. Okay, now red and green, complementary colours, so it really stands out, which again is a bit like Paul East's work. So there's that. Now another tool you could use is to create a shape, and I'm going to create a blank layer here. So in the layers tab, you've got your little page icon at the bottom here which says create a new layer. So this is a blank layer. It's like putting a piece of acetate or clear plastic over the top. And I can use a paintbrush. I can use the shape tools, which are here. I can use the polygon tool, which I don't have much control over. Or what I could do is I can use the pen tool. And the pen tool allows me, just like the Polygon Lasso tool, if I drop points down like that, it will draw out a shape. Close it up. So there we go. Now there's nothing there at the minute. What I've got to do is fill that with a set of pixels. At the minute it's kind of a mathematical possibility. So at the bottom here, in the paths section, so if you go to window, paths, there we go. There you go. So that's paths opened. What you've created there, that shape is technically called a path or a vector. And what we're going to do is we're going to fill it. And at the minute I'm filling it with black, but there's no reason why you can't instead fill it with bright purple. There we go. So now I've got this purple block here, but it's getting rid of it's covered the texture of the lovely, horrible, brutalist concrete underneath. So I'm going to make it so it's see-through. So once I've got my shape on a separate layer, I'm going to make the layer. Let's try overlay. Yeah, that works. It's just the same as that really. I may as well just gone with the Hue Saturation. What about this one? Yeah, it's a bit more subtle. Multiply. Ah, now we're talking. Okay, so you've got to mess around with the different types of blending option of the layers. So those are there to see which one works best. Now it's a bit more tricky, but it enables you to then, if I, I don't need to rasterize it, do I? If I use, say, the smudge tool, perhaps a smaller brush, there we go. I can then start to play around with it. Now, it's not quite Paul East's work, this, but once you start playing around with things, you just develop your ideas a little bit more. So this purple shape here, this is bleeding now into the rest of the photograph. And let's get rid of the path. We don't need that no more. And there we go.